The word music, as the ancient Greeks used it, included what we now normally call music and also other arts or even education in a general sense. The European conscience will always be present with its many coexistent cultures and traditions.
Wonderful to see that the body and soul are not separated, as too often happens in the realms of thinking, of trying to impose and understand an order. There is an order which we must respect, but we must also never forget that we are born of motion, of search, of trial and error, of chaos also. And the ordering of chaos, the ordering of our wholeness, is part of the civilization. The process of civilization is really the refinement of our passions and the understanding and joint efforts of our emotion and our thought.
Vou comer um grito de pão. Olha, põe uma manteiga no pão. Olha o grito de piano. Dobra, piano e manteiga. Vamos comer. Quando é Fernandes 7 meses, é pelete. Quando é Fernandes 7 meses, é pelete. Quando é Fernandes 7 meses, já contar uma história, mas depois de barriga para baixo. Pois lá,
com uma mão, que é mais fácil, se calhar. Com uma mão. Não, tem que dar espaço para fazer as mãos.
Devagarinho as mãozinhas começam a ir e começam a estar, vai, começa a crescer no dia e poucas mãos começam a caminhar. As mãos começam a ir, começam a caminhar.
Well, you know, I don't think ideas are artificial. I think they grow. They grow every day. They grow out of experience, out of playing music, out of trying to communicate, out of trying to think what it is in the human being that establishes trust with others. Because we have plenty of suspicion in this world, but we should develop more trust. And of course we must also know what to fight against. And that's why I say that if we are imbued with trust and the feeling that of response and harmony in the groups we work with, we can trust them and we can fight against all those who would sow mistrust and suspicion and fear and hate.
Muito bem, vamos já cantar.
Que tal? E como estás? Que tal? E como estás?
Espero que bem, espero que bem, espero que tudo esteja bem. Que tal? E como estás? Que tal? E como estás? Espero que bem, espero que bem.
Espero que tudo esteja bem. Que tal?
E como estás?
Sol, fá, mi, ré. Sol, fá, mi, ré.
Sol, fá, mi, ré, dó, sol, fá.
Ouçam, ouçam.
Sol, fá, mi, ré, dó, sol, dó. Vai.
Sol, fá, mi, ré, dó, sol, fá.
Isso.
Arasi, arasi, guri, 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 ram, sam, sam. Arasi, arasi, guri, 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 ram, sam, sam. Cocoleo, go, mama, coleo, go. Cocoleo, go, mama, coleo, go. Mama, mama, coleo, go. Mama, coleo, go. Cocoleo, go, mama, coleo, go.
I feel I didn't bring anything that isn't already here, that is in the actual background and civilization that you have in this extraordinary country. So it's simply, I feel that whatever happens is a liberation of what is already there, is the return, the restoring of the birthright of children who demand it, who should demand it, who should receive it without demanding it. And that is what is happening in the school. And I'm very, very grateful to see this happening. And I feel that it is an important awareness in the human mind of the need to teach by example, by the heart, through motion, through sharing, through imitating, through liberating, and not through imposing, and not through assuming that the child is an empty sack into which you stuff a certain amount of information. Well, I've been very inspired, very touched this morning, and particularly so at my age, to know that I can trust the people who are teaching the children with all their hearts, and I can trust the children because it is the children's reaction and the children's joy in learning to dance and sing and live together that is our guide. That is the guide should be the guide for the whole world. And that is why I'm anxious that this feeling, this kind of approach, this kind of formation of teaching should become the norm, the rule for the whole world. We are making a very good beginning in this wonderful country that already knows the truth in its heart, because it has already touched many cultures and they are already part of this Portuguese tradition. And the beginnings of mime were here already when the children imitated the sea lions and the lions and so on. It's the identification of the child with its environment and with its imagination, which is so important. Mime, acting, and also later on martial art. We mustn't forget that part of life which will always require courage and defense. And because, as we know, life isn't all sweetness, and we need both sides. We need the strength and the courage and the completion of the whole human being in emotion, in thought, and in sharing, in the realization of dependence. I always say we have fought for liberty and fought for independence. We must fight now for dependence, for the feeling that we depend on everybody and on ourselves. And the good thing about MUS, this project, is that we meet every year and that we can exchange impressions and experience and can learn with each year more and more. I would, for instance, be very happy if some of the dancing that I saw today, 2 or 3 or 4 groups, 8 or 10 people, young children, could come, for instance, to some of the schools in Germany or in England, because that again will be important to complement the qualities of each country and balance their qualities with other elements that may often be missing.